Hello everyone, this is the Cost and Management Accounting 3 program of BCom. The subject is Commerce, semester is the 5th semester, University is Mangalore University, and the session is the 52nd session. In this session of operating costing, we will be analyzing the different cost units and we will be preparing a format of operating cost statement. Recap. Before we move further, we'll see what we have studied in the previous session. In the previous session of operating costing, we have studied the meaning of operating costing and the features of operating costing. Learning objective. The learning objective of this session is to know the different cost units and to know the pro forma of operating cost statement. The session outcomes. What are the session outcomes? The session outcomes will be to understand the concept of different cost units and to understand the different elements that are in operating cost statement. Now we come to the cost unit. So what is a cost unit? A cost unit refers to unit of quantity of product, service or time, or a combination of these in relation to which cost may be ascertained or expressed. It is the unit of quantity in terms of which costs are ascertained and expressed. A cost unit is the cost allocated to a selected unit and calculated as the cost over a period of time divided by the number of items produced. So this is a cost unit. In operating costing, there are two kinds of cost units. They are simple cost unit and composite cost unit. So what is a simple cost unit? A cost unit is said to be simple cost unit when there is only one variable. That means in a simple cost unit there is only one variable. For example, in a transport company, simple cost unit is per mile or per kilometer. In a canteen, a simple cost unit is per item or per meal. So a simple cost unit is a cost unit where there is only one variable. Composite cost unit. Now we come to the composite cost unit. When more than one measuring units are grouped or combined together for use as a cost unit, it is called as composite cost unit. A composite cost unit consists of more factors or variables which have a close relationship. For example, in a goods transport company, a composite cost unit is per ton kilometer or per quintal kilometer. In a passenger transport company, it is per passenger mile or per passenger kilometer. In a hotel, it can be per room per day. In a hospital, it can be per bed per day. In a cinema theater, it can be per man show. So a composite cost unit is a cost unit where more than one measuring units are grouped or combined together for use as a cost unit. It consists of more factors or variables which have a close relationship. So this is composite cost unit. Now we come to the classification of cost. The operating cost can be usually classified into three categories. They are fixed or standing charges, maintenance charges, running or operating charges. So what is a fixed charge? Fixed or standing charges include those expenses which are fixed in nature. These expenses are constant and are incurred irrespective of the extent of the service. For example, in case of transport service, the fixed cost do not depend on the number of trips made or distance run by the vehicles. Here, garage charges, insurance, taxes, license fees, etc. will remain constant irrespective of the number of trips made or distance run by the vehicle. So, fixed or standing charges are those charges which are fixed in nature. These expenses are constant. Now we come to the second type, maintenance charges. These costs are incurred in the repairs and maintenance. They are semi-variable and semi-fixed in nature. They include, for example, in the transport industry, wear and tear of tires and tubes, painting charges, spares and accessories, etc. Now we come to the running or operating charges. These are variable costs. These costs are expenses that vary in proportion to the volume of the service that a business generates. These costs increases the volume of the activity increase and decreases the volume of the activity decrease. For example, in a company involved in transporting goods, petrol or diesel costs vary with the increase or decrease of kilometers run. This is one classification of operating cost. Alternatively, the cost can be broadly classified under two categories, two types, that is fixed charges and variable charges. It has to be noted that there is no hard and fast rules of classification of costs. An item of cost may be considered as variable in one circumstance and in another it may be considered as fixed. For example, wages to drivers, if it depends on the actual distance covered or service rendered, will be treated as variable. But if it is fixed, irrespective of the actual operation, it will be treated as fixed charge. Now we come to the format of statement of operating cost sheet. In this, we have taken the format of statement of operating cost sheet for a transport company. So in this format, we have taken the fixed charges. The fixed charges taken here are wages of driver, conductor, cleaner, wages of manager, accountant, clerk, salary of supervisor, managers, insurance, license fees, road tax, carriage rent or expenses, permit fees, office and administration overhead, supervision charges, workshop expenses, stationery expenses, cost of tire, tube, depreciation if it is related to efflux of time, and we have the total fixed charges. Then we take the variable charges. Depreciation if it is related to operation, repairs and maintenance charges, diesel or petrol, and then we have the operating cost per passenger or ton kilometer. It has to be noted that the specimen given above is a general classification of cost. Considering the given circumstances, a few change in the classification of cost as variable and fixed may be made in the problems to come. So this is a format of statement of operating cost sheet we have taken for transport company. Now we come to summary of this session. In this session, we have come to know the meaning of different cost units. We have also been able to understand the types of cost units. And with the format of statement of operating cost sheet, we have come to know how cost statements can be prepared. With this, I'd like to conclude this session. Thank you.